Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that was an anxious person with an avoidant person? You might be caught in this very common relationship pattern. And in this video, you're going to learn how to identify and break the anxious-avoidant relationship trap. First, let's define what is an anxious-avoidant relationship. I've spoken about attachment styles many times, and so I'm referring to two of the four attachment styles. The four styles, just as a refresher, are anxious, avoidant, disorganized, and secure. 3 insecure attachment styles and 1 secure. And all of these styles were formed when we were very young, when we were young children, and they often continue into our adult relationships. They are the blueprints for how we give and receive love. An anxiously attached person tends to give very openly and excessively to their partner, often without limits. They usually need a lot of reassurance that they are loved. The avoidant tends to crave a lot of alone time in a relationship, and they often feel smothered or claustrophobic, especially when they feel that their partner is being needy. That's when they tend to withdraw. So the pattern of an anxious avoidant relationship goes like this. The anxious partner expresses their love, their neediness, their anxiety, maybe, and the avoidant tends to withdraw. Then the person who's anxiously attached can feel hurt, and then they withdraw, and then the avoidant comes closer, they become more loving, and as soon as the anxious moves closer again, the avoidant moves farther away. It's a crazy making cycle. It goes on and on and on, so that you're very rarely on the same page. Why are these relationships so common? These types of relationships echo our relationship with our primary caregiver when we were raised as young children. If we were brought up by an avoidant mother, then we often have become anxious in response to win over her love. And that becomes our model for our romantic relationships when we get older. When we pair with somebody who's avoidant in our adult relationships, it confirms this unconscious belief that this is what love feels like. It's our truth based on primary caregivers' response to us as children and to our emotional needs. Let's talk about some of the signs about what it's like to be anxiously attached and date an avoidant partner. You don't feel appreciated. They tend to blow hot and cold with you. They say that you're important to them, but their actions don't line up. They don't want to label the relationship, and they put you down for asking where things are going. They diminish you. They tend to be overly secretive. They need a lot of alone time, especially when you want closeness. And they make a lot of plans for themselves, even when you are a couple. Let's talk about some signs of what it's like to be avoidant and date an anxious partner. They need you to communicate often with them. They take a lot of things that you say personally and they overanalyze what you say. They tend to spiral out when they're feeling insecure. So they'll take one thing and they'll make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and the meaning just grows and grows when it may not be true at all. They want to know where things are heading early on in the relationship to feel more secure, that they can trust you. They sometimes misunderstand your need for space and time alone and take it personally. And they often expect you to read their mind instead of stating their needs clearly. Now, these are all generalizations, and you may recognize some of these qualities in yourself. So if you either have been on either side, you may be caught in an anxious avoidant relationship cycle. These relationships are like roller coasters. They have intoxicating highs and low lows, and we call it the anxious avoidant trap. Why do people behave like this? There's a scientific reason, actually, because both of these insecure attachment styles are trying to create a sense of security in their own way. Anxious partners exhibit protest behaviors to try to establish or reestablish connection when they're in an insecure relationship based on primary caretaker and how they were brought up. So they're protesting protest behaviors. So let's talk about what that means. Some signs of protest behaviors include excessive contact followed by withdrawal, keeping score in the relationship, acting hostile when they don't get their needs met, and many forms of emotional manipulation. Avoidant partners exert a sense of control by practicing detachment. These behaviors can include words and actions that don't match, over-focusing on their partner's flaws, talking about past relationships, past partners, rather than being fully present here in the current relationship, being afraid of emotional intimacy when they're in a relationship with you, and that's exhibited by avoiding labeling the relationship or expressing any intimate thoughts or feelings. And the last sign is being overly sexual or not sexual enough. For example, they can be hot and heavy with you, but they don't include you with the rest of their life. And the other extreme is maybe you're stuck in the friend zone, but you feel the chemistry is amazing. Crazy making, right? So it's really hard to be in these relationships. And the question is, can they work? Yes, they can, but it takes some work. And I'm going to share 4 steps to begin that work. Number 1, know your attachment style and know how it impacts you. So if you know that you're anxiously attached, know that you tend to become anxious in a relationship right away. Knowing that knowledge helps you with the awareness of, I can do something about it. So what can you do about it? Step 2 is differentiate which issues are yours, which are his, and which are part of the relationship. I've said this many times, there's a yours, mine, and ours in a relationship. And we have to know, like, if it's a me issue, then I don't always need to bring it up. Maybe I need to just process this. Maybe this is part of my old programming, and I need to process it and not talk to this person about everything. Which brings me to step 3. Learn how to take care of your needs first before addressing them with a partner. Everything doesn't have to be discussed. Many times, it could be our overactive imagination and have nothing to do with this person that you're in a relationship with. And the 4th step is to communicate clearly and calmly. And this takes practice, it takes work. I am working on a course that I'm putting the finishing touches on to help you have these tough conversations. What you can do here when you're in an anxious avoidant relationship is to ask your partner what he needs to feel safe in the relationship. This is really important. We all have different safety needs. Ask him what triggers him and what would make him feel more secure with you. I remember I once asked somebody what emotional triggers he has so that we can sort of get them all out on the table. Like, what's going to trigger you? If I do this, will you be triggered? Tell me so that I know, and you tell me, and I'll tell you what triggers me. So that's what you really want to put on the table. You want to respect and acknowledge his needs and then turn the tables and tell him what you need. Tell him what makes you feel safe and what triggers you. And that way, there's a lot of information out there about when I do this, this is going to be helpful. For example, if I'm going to really get anxious when I don't hear from you for several hours, is it okay if I call you? Because I just need to hear your voice, you know? And so see what happens. And if you're dating somebody who's open to that, that's fantastic. The more you learn to take care of your own needs and separate what's yours, mine, and ours, and to communicate openly and vulnerably about what you both need, especially when you are emotionally triggered, the better chance your relationship will have of succeeding, even if it's in this anxious avoidant relationship trap. But If you have tried all of the steps above and your partner is not willing to be open and or able to work things out with you, it's probably time to end the relationship. If you're anxious or avoidant, by the way, your best partner will be a secure partner. That is going to be the least amount of turmoil and drama because a secure person is that anchor that can help you to feel secure in any relationship. But no matter what happens, having the skills to get to a more secure space in any relationship, and that includes friendships, that's going to change every relationship you have for the better.